So welcome to this Fireside. I'm Michael FEMBEK. I'm the CEO of the Zero Project, and I'm happy to welcome Mrs. Meera SHENOY, who is the CEO of Youth4Jobs, one of the most outstanding Indian NGOs, and our partner for working with on Zero Project India. Actually, Meera, she insisted that she asked the first question to me and not the other way around. So I'm handing over to you, Meera.
Michael, so good to be here in Austria and at the venue of the Zero Project. I think this is my 4th year here. So my first question to you is that last September we held the first Zero Project India conference. What were the kind of expectations you had in your mind and what actually happened overall? Give us some glimpses.
Yeah, to give some background to this question, in September, after an extensive and productive preparation, we jointly organized the first Zero Project India conference in Delhi in September 2023. It was an incredible event. A lot of Indian stakeholders joined, international guests, and it was a fruitful mix of the Zero Project India community brought together by Meera and the Zero Project International community, and we talked about innovations coming to India or going out of India to our international community. And to answer your question, Meera, I was overwhelmed, to be honest. As part of a planning committee, you have some expectations what's coming and what's not coming, and it was an excellent atmosphere. It was a group of highly engaged people that we met this exhibition, and the people there, they were so committed and so extraordinary, and everyone understood the need of further collaboration, and this is also why we're talking already and planning for the next Zero Project India conference. But then let's turn the table on you, Meera, and now it's me asking you the questions. Maybe we continue with you giving us more background on your organization, on Youth4Jobs, and why the cooperation with Zero Project is so important to you, and why we can work with you.
Youth4Jobs as an organization is about 12 years old, but I have had a vast experience of working with marginalized youth and linking them to markets in senior government positions in the World Bank, in the UN, and then I set up Youth4Jobs 12 years back, where we focused on skilling youth with disabilities and putting them into jobs. But over the years, what has happened, Michael, is that the work has actually evolved into us becoming a system changer. It's evolved to 3-4 products of ours. One is AI-triggered accessible job platform exclusively for youth with disabilities. It's first of its kind in Southeast Asia, and it's really rocking. We have about 850 companies registered and about 20,000 youth with disabilities registered already. And jobs are getting cranked, companies are getting sensitized, a lot of services. So that means we partner with the central government, with the state governments, with the NGOs, and therefore the work moves just not at looking at Youth4Jobs, but all the stakeholders in the space. The second, of course, is our grassroots academy, where youth with disabilities are the change makers in their communities, in the villages, and it works only on local partnerships with governments, with the local industry. And therefore, at this time, the Zero Project came into our life. It seemed so appropriate for us to partner with you, Michael, because what this meant is taking the work to the next stage, getting the Indian innovators to actually collaborate with the Western innovators to see how together the best practices, there can be a cross-fertilization of ideas, and that's why we are excited. Of course, we are also excited because it allows us to launch exciting new products together like we do, where because of our collaboration with Zero Project, we were able to actually do a global network of women entrepreneurs with disabilities, who we all know are the most vulnerable. We were so keen to work in this space, and the Zero actually allowed us to launch a global alliance. Yes, Michael, it's been exciting for us. And how's it been for you? I mean, what are your thinking about India, and what are the things we can do both for India and South Asia, maybe, as we evolve?
Yeah. Yeah. So from the, let's say, international or Austrian perspective, the Zero Project is a global community. As you can see here right now in Vienna, we have more than 100 people from 100 different countries registered here at the Zero Project Conference in Vienna. But having said that, it doesn't make any sense to let this Zero Project Conference in Vienna grow and grow and grow. We, for many reasons, travel and also it doesn't, we need these international connected leaders that work with us here in Vienna, but to regionalize the networks, to regionalize the content, we need engaged partners like Youth4Jobs. So for us, this is crucial, and I'm always using this metaphor of an highway. You know? So we have the community here. You have a community in India. We have parts of a community also related India to Vienna. But building this highway where innovations, and Zero Project is all about innovations. It's not about advocacy. It's not about global research. It's about sharing innovations and sharing those networks that work with innovations, that we build this highway to India and also from India. So this is what we're here for. This is the reason why we exist, and this is where we found a good partner with Youth4Jobs. And so, yeah, building this is the sole purpose of what we're up to right now. We will offer a lot of what we call connecting work streams. So you mentioned already one of them, which is We Do. I'm following up on this right away. It's a woman entrepreneurship network, but it's also about IT jobs. It's about general entrepreneurship for people with disabilities. There's so much to learn from India for many reasons. I just give you one. For India is a country that has it all. It has the brightest people in the world, but it has also rural areas that are extremely poor, and there are many solutions developed within India for these less developed regions within India. And these solutions that are developed in India for India, they are very relevant also for organizations and countries that can keep compared and also connected to India. You mentioned already Southeast Asia, and we had currently the presentation of Ms. Gokbun Q from SHENOY. So we will build also a connection between India and Singapore. There are many people from sub-Saharan African countries here, so we will build this axis also between India and sub-Saharan Africa. So this is the role that we as the global Zero Project, from the global Zero Project point of view, this is our picture, and these are the highways that we want to build. But then again, a question to you, Meera. You mentioned already We Do. What is We Do, and what can we expect if we're building We Do together?
I think, first, if you look at it from the Indian perspective, there's hardly any work done in this. Women with disabilities are the most invisible. For example, if you looked at Davos, gender was so big, but gender and disability, the intersectionality was completely missing. So we're using that opportunity to build a very strong, scaled-up model in India, and looking at the best practices which exist globally through the Zero Network, and to see how we can integrate those best practices. Plus, we are constituting a global award for We Do. You know, we're talking to one among the 5 big consulting organizations to work with us pro bono for that. And I think by the time the Zero Project India happens, we'll be able to tell you who the global partner is, who's coming on board. So I think, as you rightly said, Michael, what really helps us is that these networks help us to begin much quicker, you know, because you're not making mistakes. You're learning from a global network where there are best practices everywhere. This network which you created over the last 14 or 15 years allows us to actually sweep across, learn from the best practices, and therefore build stronger institutions in the areas which you want to. So we are really excited about it. And I'll be speaking about it also in the Zero India forum, which we've created over here with you. Yeah, so I think what we should really do is that we should ensure, as I was just walking, I was speaking to the Access Israel team which had come in, and they were all saying, I was saying, next year, 50% of this should be the Zero Project India. And they told me, no, we should say 150% of this should be the Zero Project India, because India itself also has so much innovations to add. So I think one is, Michael, again and again, we should invite everyone who's an innovator from your network to come to the product which you created in India so that they can participate there and learn what's happening in India, where there's really a huge amount happening. And the exhibition section of it will have a lot of innovators showcasing their project. We hope this year, the next year, which will be either late September or early October, the conference happening in Delhi, the topic would be inclusive education. And we may add early intervention to it. So would be really, really exciting. This is an area where very few conferences choose the theme of inclusive education. Mostly it's employment. So I think inclusive education will also bring for the first time several stakeholders together, Michael.
Yeah, we're coming already to the close of the session. So this is the commitment and also the pledge from the International Zero Project. We want to build these highways, we want to build these connections, and especially those innovators or those stakeholders who have an interest in working with innovations, please come forward, let us know. We will try to integrate you as fast as possible into this conference, especially if you want to build something in India, or if you're from India and want to build something outside India. And we will try our best to give you a good spot and a good showcase, and also try to connect you with the right people, because this is what this is actually is all about, that we are building these bridges and we're building these highways, we're building these knots to connect them. And it can only be built by people who have a really stake in this and not only leaning back and listening interestedly. It's the people who are, the Zero Project is all about, these inspiring people who want to create something, in this case building this highway and this bridge between Zero Project International and Zero Project India conference. Meera, any last words from your side?
In India, we welcome everyone with the namaste. So let me just say a namaste to everyone and say welcome to the Zero Project India.
Thank you, Meera, and this concludes this fireside chat. I hope to see many of you at the Zero Project India conference. As Meera said, date is to be announced, but it will be around end of September to early October. Thank you.